what defines male and female is the gametes. I mean, this is what you bring up a lot. I notice when you're arguing or kind of conversing with these activists online. That is what defines male and female, right?
Right. It's the most objective way to define male and female because it's the one trait, like gamete type. That's the one trait that unifies or unites all sexually reproducing species.
Yeah.
There's a wide range of sex characteristics. Asparagus plants, they don't have, like male asparagus plants, they don't have penises like humans, it's totally different. But they still produce small gametes, just like human males do. And the small gamete so that's that unifying trait. And that's why it's the most objective definition of sex.
Right.
Is gamete type. And then how that gamete type correlates to the phenotype the organism develops. And that phenotype is that body morphology that supports those gametes.
Yeah. And I've looked into that a little bit. And I know I think we've both read a paper that sort of explains the origin of that, but it's so fundamental. I mean, there's no species that produce, there's no like multicellular organisms or species that produce gametes that are anything but that. There's always a big one and there's always a small one. And you really have to go down into through the evolutionary ladder to like these algae that maybe there's like a difference, they don't have that big difference. But anything that's multicellular is going to have have sexes. They're going to have one that makes large, group, or I don't know what you call that, phenotype that makes large gametes, and one that makes small gametes. And it's just like universal. So I think you're 100% correct on defining things that way. And then, what's interesting, I think is interesting, is that, we're very familiar with the XY system for getting sex ratios, meaning we're getting like a certain amount of egg producers and a certain amount of sperm producers. But then there's all these other species that have all these different mechanisms. So there's like the birds are different.
Birds are ZZ and ZW.
Yeah.
But the birds are, like the male will be ZZ. So they'll be I think it's called the homogametic instead of heterogametic sex, which is the one, that has the same chromosomes instead of two different chromosomes. In humans, the males have two different chromosomes, XY, and then the birds have XX or ZZ.
Yeah. And then you've got, I know this from working on nature programs like, reptilian species, amphibian species, they do it by temperature, which is super weird. But so to say that, to say that sex is determined by chromosomes, that's the defining feature, seems a little strange to me, because it's just one mechanism by which you can get sex ratios. There's all these other mechanisms by which, and that's all that nature cares about. Nature, does not care how you got there. What it cares is what's the end ratio, because we need some of these large producers and some of these small producers.